You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, King Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's WWE Monday Night Raw After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's WWE Monday Night Raw After Show.
Bing is for doing It's the Raw After Show. Every week we're here at AfterBuzz's studio. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Without further ado, I'll introduce our panel. Missing GQ Money, and you might ask why. Divas training camp's in town, and they hired the guy. Clem and Josh are gone too, but no need to cry. We've got Christian Rosenberg hosting Bar on the Fly. Now, I'm Cathy, Kelley, and I know my arms suck. Hey, all you want on chat roll, because I don't give a...
What? Look at you breaking it down. Look at the round of applause. GQ Money's got nothing on you.
Nothing
he's so
much better. He's so much better. I can't even.
Hey, better than what I can do. Awesome, great way to introduce Buzzin' After Raw.
Thank you.
Cathy, Kelley. I am professional wrestling's voice of choice, Christian Rosenberg. We're brought to you by Bing. Bing is for doing. We are doing Buzzin' After Raw without, the rest of the usual panel.
I know. Taking President's Day off.
They're taking President's Day off. But you literally just flew back from Houston.
I know.
For NBA All-Star Weekend. No sleep.
I'm running on fumes and coffee, so bear with me if I don't have my A game today.
You just busted some rhymes. I think you're fine.
Thank you.
But we got Ryan, and Josh. Mm-hmm. They're probably in bed by now. They had an early dinner, getting some Z's, getting their 8 hours, going to work out in the morning because they are preparing for tomorrow. We're going to talk about Raw right now, but tomorrow, everyone watching, everyone listening, tell all your friends and their friends and so on, because 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific Time tomorrow, Tuesday, February 19th. Ryan, and Josh.
And me.
Are you going to be there too?
Yeah.
Oh, they told me it was only 3 of them. My bad. Whoa. I created some friction. Ryan, Josh, and Cathy will be in this studio, and they will have a live interview with the one, the only. That was perfect timing. Chris Jericho will be here in studio tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. They're going to be talking about wrestling. They'll talk about his new Robot Wars show. Talking about, Fozzy, maybe some, yoga. He's a big fan of DDP yoga, which I use myself. He's going to be here. One of the biggest names in wrestling. We saw him tonight on Raw. I don't care if you're in school. I don't care if you're at work. You are leaving. You are tuning in to listen and watch that because it's going to be incredible.
It's going to be so good. And he actually has a new show on Sci-Fi that he's
right, the Robot Wars, I think it's called. Yeah. It's going to be tremendous.
So good.
I'm very jealous I will not be here.
Yeah.
But that's just
I just wanted to say that the reason why Smiley is actually not here is because he's filming for WWE's Divas.
He's doing some work for the Divas
training camp. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he should have some good insight.
Oh yeah. I'm sure he'll have fun stories that he'll share with us later on in the week.
Yeah.
But enough about that for now. Let's talk about tonight's Monday Night Raw, hailing from the Cajun Dome in Lafayette, Louisiana. We open things up. John Cena comes out after the nice video package of Elimination Chamber last night, which, if you haven't watched, we did an AfterBuzz about the Chamber. Make sure when this is done, you go and check that out as well. And great pay-per-view, getting things off, kickstarting for the road to WrestleMania. Cena comes out, and, he was talking about that sign, that WrestleMania sign. For the longest time, it meant nothing more but just some letters and a building. But now that Elimination Chamber's over, we're on the road to WrestleMania, it has so much more meaning. And he's announcing what we all already know, that he will be facing The Rock in 48 days at WrestleMania 29. But all of a sudden, who interrupts him? But none other than Mr. CM Punk. Punk comes out talking about, you sure you want to fight The Rock? I mean, that's the easy way out. The Rock beat me fair and square, but granted, I had him pinned, and he struck an official where, based on the rules of the match, he should have been DQ'd and the title awarded to Punk. But he was like, but still, he won fair and square. So it was like, at first it sounded like, oh, he's actually giving The Rock some props, but then just twisted around the only way CM Punk can do.
I thought Cena's part was a little bit flat, but when CM Punk came out, it gave it legitimacy. And CM Punk was right. He's never beat him, so.
He was right. And he's talking about, again, the 434-day reign as WWE Champion. He bested the best in the business, which included John Cena on multiple occasions. So Cena asked him, what do you want me to do? And CM Punk said, just walk away.
Yeah.
Just leave. Which I'm sure everyone expected Cena to just turn around and walk out.
Yeah.
But shockingly, no. Cena defied the odds yet again and stood tall, but then broke down a huge challenge to Punk. He's talked about you and me one more time because I need my own redemption on you. Mm-hmm. If I beat you, you tuck your tail, you go away. We are sick of you. Get out. But if you beat me, then you're right. I haven't earned my title shot. You have it. You go to WrestleMania, and I give it up.
I would rather see CM Punk versus The Rock at WrestleMania, but I don't know.
A lot of people agree with you. Obviously, there are a lot of the C Nation, John Cena fans that want him to get that another shot at The Rock, get a chance to be WWE Champion for, I believe, an 11th time, which he already has the record, and just wants to extend it. You
said earlier that it should be the three of them.
I would love it to end up somehow being a triple threat, just because when this match ends, who does the other one have to work with?
Yeah.
Unless suddenly, with 6 or 5 weeks left before Mania, Undertaker returns, they don't really have someone to build up to have a match with him. And even 5 or 6 weeks with the Undertaker, as great as that is, that deserves even more time than that.
The crowd was so pissed off when they were teasing that it was going to happen tonight, and
that's why CM Punk is so good. Because they were all ready for it tonight. Cena was ready for it tonight. The crowd was like, oh my God, we're going to get this huge match tonight. Punk's like, not tonight. And pissed everyone up. We were pissed.
It was such a good tease, though. And honestly, I feel like Lafayette, the crowd still got such a good Raw that they shouldn't, no one should complain, so.
Oh, no. They were just complaining like, oh, we thought we had this great moment.
I did too.
And
I know you did too.
And that's the beauty of being a top heel, when the crowd, you have the crowd in the palm of your hand, and with one sentence, he pisses 20,000 people off at once. It's just, it was brilliance. It was pure brilliant. And then, Punk left saying, we're going to do it next week. Next week, I believe Raw hails from Dallas. So it'll probably be where the Mavericks play. And, Cena, towards the end of that, he was getting really emotional, the good, serious Cena promos that we love. And, Cena just saying, next week, we're finally going to shut you up. I'm going to finally, redeem myself. And crowd, popping for Mr. Cena.
Who do you think's going to win next week, though?
See,
you have no predictions on this?
Well, Ryan hates me doing predictions. I noticed that last night at the Chamber. But
what do you hope for, then?
I hope somehow it's like a double countout, because then Punk will have the argument that he didn't lose, thus resulting in a triple threat. Not quite sure how they would arrange it.
Yeah.
But
what do
see.
They have? They have 48 days until WrestleMania?
48 days from tonight.
Okay.
So just under 7 weeks away from the biggest grand stage of them all.
6 more Raws left?
Yes,
okay.
6 more Raws.
Cool.
And then we get a hype video letting us know that tonight we are going to have The Rock's championship celebration, because when he won the title last month, that wasn't enough of a celebration. We need another celebration. And, we'll get that later on tonight. Come back, all of a sudden we have a recap from the great 6-man tag match last night, the Elimination Chamber between The Shield and Cena, Sheamus, and Ryback. Everyone, and Michael Cole was talking about that, everyone was shocked that the Shield actually pulled out the victory.
Yeah.
And it's, that they worked as a team better than Cena, Sheamus, and Ryback. And, we were talking about on the show last night how Ryback at the end kind of stormed out, seemed, very upset, about, very upset about the fact that they lost, and kind of almost was getting it with Sheamus. And then we see him backstage. But, they said, let's go to Josh Matthews backstage with him. And it was actually Matt Stryker. So good one there. But, all of a sudden we see Ryback and Sheamus kind of arguing back and forth about, Sheamus saying, I'm just as angry as you are that we lost. But, we can't, we can't
take it out on each other. We have to, be friends and come together and just beat them again.
Exactly. And who comes out to try to calm them down? I think it's
our future guest.
It's the guest for tomorrow night, Mr. Chris Jericho.
Yes. He was a good moderator too.
He was a very good moderator. And you notice, it's crazy to think, because he's not really a short guy, but in between those two guys, he looked very tiny. He did look very tiny between them. Yeah. But it just shows, how big guys like Sheamus and Ryback are. Jericho then, went on to say, I'm going to Vicky, and I'm going to request that we have a 6-man tag match tonight between The Shield and Ryback, Sheamus, and Y2J. Show that Raw is truly Jericho. Sheamus and Ryback agree, kind of like a simple little head nod to him. Jericho gives them both like one more slap each because he was just chopping them back and forth, and leaves. He's going to talk to Vicky. We'll find out shortly what Vicky's answer is. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Sin Cara is hanging out and then freaks out because Mark Henry's music hits. It was funny because he was kind of like acting like shocked about it. It wasn't necessarily like promoted as a surprise opponent, so you think maybe he knew ahead of time that he was going to be wrestling Mark Henry and not shocked and nervous that Mark Henry was coming to the ring. But nevertheless, down comes Henry.
The crowd loves him.
Crowd is really loving Mark Henry lately, which is very interesting because, for the longest time, the crowd could have cared less about him. Yeah. Then all of a sudden they made him that dominant monster with the Hall of Pain, and he built up that respect. He built up that recognition. Ryan on the pay-per-view AfterBuzz last night was talking about, as far as ratings for SmackDown, last week's SmackDown with Henry's return was the highest rated SmackDown since Mark Henry was champion.
They're doing so much better with SmackDown in the last couple weeks.
They are.
Yeah.
They really are. And, well, it's great. They always have to be on their A+ game, building things up to WrestleMania. In the last few weeks, both Raw and SmackDown have been showing that. They've been very good, really doing a good job building things up.
Yeah, especially this week.
Yeah.
But
This match, pretty quick. I believe it was Michael Cole that said on commentary that he thinks this man is the most dangerous man in WWE today. Not talking about Sin Cara, talking about Mark Henry. Very quick match, World's Strongest Slam. Henry dominates. Match is over. He continues to attack Sin Cara. But the great Khali, his music hit, and he very, very slowly comes down to the ring to make the save.
You're saying that Mark Henry is supposed to be so dominant, and then he runs
away
out of the stage or off the ring. That is just.
He leaves the ring once Khali finally gets there, and then just kind of stands there, laughs at him, and starts mocking Khali's dance moves.
I would too.
Oh, you would just have some rapping. Next we'll pop and lock or something.
No, I'm an awful dancer. He'd actually probably be better than me. But
can we find a way to do a dance-off here between Cathy, Kelley, and the great Khali? If we can get Jericho in here, we can fit Khali in here.
Maybe we'll
somehow.
do a dance-off tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. You versus Jericho?
That'd be awesome.
Tune in for the dance-off. You said it. I didn't.
We'll see.
Now we're seeing some footage from last night's Elimination Chamber between Antonio Cesaro and The Miz for the United States title, showing a recap of how Cesaro kicked Miz's leg, causing Miz to fall into the groinal region of Cesaro.
It was a low blow.
The accidental low blow.
Literally a low blow.
There was. And the beauty of it, I don't know if you got a chance, to see it afterwards, Cesaro was pointing to the ref like, look what he did.
Yeah.
And, the ref then, called for the DQ on Miz, obviously making Miz very upset. So tonight we have a no DQ match, non-title, but a no disqualification match between Miz and Cesaro. Meanwhile, as we get back from the commercial break with a Fandango, not Fandango, Fandango.
I wanted to say about that match, Miz's figure 4 is improving.
It is improving.
I mean, there's only room to improve, but only room to go up. But
we're just about to get in that match. But yeah, we had the first Fandango vignette, and then we also find out we see a picture of Vicky Guerrero's Twitter announcing that she will grant Jericho's request, and we will have that 6-man tag match tonight on Monday Night Raw. Now we get into the Miz Cesaro match. Miz acting very aggressive from the get-go because she's so angry that, he got screwed over last night. We got kendo sticks. We got steel chairs. Steel chairs being used in a very, effective way. Cesaro plants one in the middle of the turnbuckle. We have Miz get thrown in his bad shoulder on it. But then towards the end of the match, Miz gets out of the way of Cesaro where his knee bangs that chair. And then Miz trips him into another chair that's planted. But, he didn't land on the actual, seated part. He lands on the top of the chair. And then thus, as you were saying, Miz's improved figure 4 and gets a submission win in a non-title affair, but goes over and gets the victory over Antonio Cesaro. Thus, my opinion, continuing to build this up so they have a nice payoff match at WrestleMania. I'm enjoying this feud.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's really helping the Miz as far as him getting over more as a babyface. And you smile when I say babyface. I know it's because I have a babyface and all, but in wrestling, that's what they call, the good guys. And it's really, becoming like a tough task for Cesaro. Like, all right, well, this guy is a former WWE champion.
Yeah.
How will they interact? Once it's all said and done, will Cesaro still have that title? Will Miz become U.S. champion once again? We're on the edge of our seats. We're trying to find out.
And people are saying that they were surprised Miz won tonight because of the injury. It's on his left side, which he's a lefty, so.
But he put in the figure 4, which is all legs.
I know.
It's all legs. His leg ain't hurt.
But
just
until
his shoulder.
then.
But until then.
It's difficult.
Hopefully by Mania, his shoulder heals up. Well, who knows? I mean, they might not even have, the match hasn't been announced for Mania yet, but it's looking like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now we go back to Cole and Lawler talking about how Jack Swagger last night shocked the WWE Universe by emerging victorious in the Elimination Chamber in that fantastic Elimination Chamber match last night. But tonight we are going to have a State of the Union address. Perfect for President's Day with all those little vignettes of historic presidential quotes going on.
Yeah.
Why not have a State of the Union from the real American?
Did you know that Abe Lincoln was a WWE fan?
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Did not know the WWE was around way back then.
He was a wrestler.
That I did not know.
Yeah, there's like a story. I remember hearing this when I was a kid. There's a story about how Abe Lincoln wrestled some bully back in Illinois. You can look it up online.
I'm going to have to do that later on. The more you know. And it's funny you said that. I remember back, it was the 2008 presidential election between Obama and McCain. And, WWE has a big Smackdown Your Vote campaign to try to get a lot of, new registered voters. And McCain and Barack have a little, video package that they aired on Raw, to talk to the WWE Universe. And Obama said, if you smell what Barack is cooking. I don't know if that gained my vote or made me question it. But it's just all right. So Obama, apparently a rock fan, and Abe Lincoln, big hardcore fan. I think he's a 3MB fan. If I were to pick something, I would put Lincoln with 3MB. Oh, but meanwhile, with the State of the Union, we get a clip from Zeb Coulter's YouTube page, which I believe was youtube.com/WeThePeopleZeb. And it literally looks like an old school home camcorder and this giant fence with their flag, yellow flag with a rattlesnake saying, "Don't tread on me," with Zeb talking about immigration.
It was unintentionally hilarious.
I completely agree.
I just started cracking up during that promo. It was so funny.
Because Swagger was acting like his hype man. It's just he's just in the back saying yeah, it's ridiculous. We the people. I'm just Swagger, you can talk. I mean, I understand Zeb is a very good talker, and we're trying to make you guys as very, original. I don't know if I want to say original Americans, but, like Americans take what they want.
Yeah.
All this, legal immigration stuff, they're getting on touch stuff.
They're very militant.
They are being very militant. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And, Lawler was even saying, like, I don't want to touch what they're talking about because it's just like, ooh, we're getting on, the edgy thing. They never said anything about, like, saying, like, Mexicans per se, like, taking over things. It's just like, all these, other people taking what's rightfully the Americans.
Be a good setup for...
It's working into a great setup for it, which I believe a few weeks ago I mentioned on our SmackDown show. I'm not putting myself over it anyway. Yes, I am. All right. Now we get a backstage segment once again between Daniel Bryan and Kane. Daniel Bryan coming up to Kane seems very distraught, very upset. Like, I feel like they're on the verge of breaking up.
They were.
No, he said, I thought you were going to hug me, but instead you gave me an uppercut to my jaw. He's like, I'm not comfortable tagging with you. In fact, I told Vicky I wanted a singles match tonight. And you know what? I don't want you out there with me. And then he ran back to his room and watched Dr. Phil.
It was a total lover's quarrel.
It really was.
It was so sad.
I was waiting. I was just waiting for the moment for someone to pop out and be like, yeah, he's tagging with me tonight.
Yeah. This is such a good build-up for a feud, if they have one. Such a good build-up.
It's been so long because they've been interacting with each other, whether they were wrestling each other back for the WWE title many, many months ago. The two of them were in a feud at the same time with CM Punk for the title, and then they went through they feuded with each other, then had anger management, then teamed up. It's been this great slow build, which is something that is rare these days in today's wrestling. And I love it. I'm ready for them to have their big match, and I'm going to really enjoy it because now it's going to a point where like they know each other so well.
It seems like they planned out this storyline for so long, and
yes,
it's good.
Yes, it is. Meanwhile, back there, Kane said, I'm going to request a singles match too, and I don't want you coming out because I don't deal with like ornery snakes. And all of a sudden, does someone mention my name or what? And all of a sudden, the camera just pans a little more, and there's Randy Orton just randomly standing there.
That was so funny.
And Kane just goes on talking about how much he hates snakes, and
I'm gonna stomp on them
with my boot. And then Orton just kind of looks at him. He's like, a long time ago, I would have been kind of scared and intimidated by that, but now you're a lot less imitating now that you traded choke slams for hugs. And he called Kane Barney the Dinosaur, which then the crowd laughed. Daniel Bryan laughed. Kane not so happy.
Do you remember Barney's theme song, the I love you,
you love me?
That was totally Kane and Daniel Bryan 2 weeks ago.
With rainbows and butterflies.
At how quickly their love just fell apart.
Their love.
Yes, their love.
Their camaraderie to be tag team champions.
Yes.
All right, in love, whatever. So it looks like we're going to also have then Kane versus Randy Orton tonight, and we find out a little later that that's exactly what we're going to get. Cut over to Vicky and Paul Heyman. Paul interrupts Vicky's phone call because Heyman was summoned over to see Vicky Guerrero, and Vicky, makes fun of Heyman he's like, how do you feel that you got the stipulation that you wanted for the Chamber, but you still lost the match? It's like, are you okay, buddy? You need a tissue? You need to wipe the nose? And again, it was kind of making it sound like Vicky is kind of turned into a good guy. Kind of like confused by this. And she announces that she has news that will affect Paul Heyman's career. In fact, maybe even affect the rest of his life. But she said, I don't want to tell you back here. I want to save it for the ring. Heyman's saying, I don't like surprises. And then Vicky just leans real close into him and says, I know. And that's why I'm going to give you a surprise. We're going to find out later on the night what that surprise might be.
Did you see how Heyman looked at her when she left? I feel like it's almost building up for some. Like, it looked like they were flirting.
You thought they were flirting?
Yes. Honestly, the way that if you watch Raw back and just look at like those 5 seconds when she leaves, it looks like he's giving her the eye. I'm just saying. That's how I read it.
That would be an interesting
Maybe
twist on thing.
Maybe just because I'm a girl.
That would be a very interesting twist on thing.
Probably won't happen. But
I mean, you think about that, that would be good. Heyman, like the most evil guy in WWE today, when like the incredible talker, and Vicky, anytime she gets on a microphone, the crowd just boos her out of the building. They could work as a power couple. It'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's just also interesting to think that Vicky went from Edge to Dolph Ziggler to Paul Heyman.
Okay, so my chat roll has been going on and off because I have awful internet right now. But one of the people I just saw, someone said those would be some ugly babies if they had kids.
Those would be some walrus babies. Those would be some hideous. Why are we even thinking that? You, see what you did?
I know.
See what happens
Okay.
when Ryan, and Josh aren't here?
Moving on.
We get you on the desk and we're talking about all these love triangles. Look at no.
That's what girls think about.
All right, we come back and we got Ziggler coming out to the ring with AJ and Big E. I still wear 4 sizes too small wrestling tights, Langston. And all of a sudden, we're like, all right, who's Ziggler going to face tonight? And he's facing the World Heavyweight Champion, Del Rio. Again, kind of thinking like, what are we doing? Why is he constantly facing the World Heavyweight Champion when he has his money in the bank? The point is, like, surprise, if he keeps wrestling him, like what, it's going to kind of ruin the effect of it.
This ended up being my favorite match of the night, though, honestly.
It was a great match.
It was such a good match.
Well, these two work very well together, which makes sense for them to want to use them a lot. It's just, in the last 3 months, we're probably, between Raw and SmackDown, we've probably seen this at least 5 or 6 times. So, let's, lighten things up. Actually, no Big Show tonight when you think about it. There was no Big Show at all. So curious what they might do with him. I was also kind of surprised, not a loud reaction for Del Rio when he came out, at least from our TV here. Maybe it's different, like from a crowd report, but didn't sound like he got the type of response that he did last night at the Chamber. About 1 minute into the match, we get a beautiful enziguri by Del Rio that takes Ziggler out, and then we're in commercial. Just about like a minute into the match, but they got to pay the bills. And that's what they do.
It was a very short time between commercial breaks.
It was.
Too.
It was. I'm thinking maybe the opener might have ran a little long, so they had to squeeze in some more commercials. Just a guess. But we come back, and, while this match is going on, we see Swagger and Zeb in the back on the monitor, watching, studying, looking at, every move. Zeb coaching Swagger. He's got 48 days to prepare for Del Rio. Got to start working. We see a beautiful reverse superplex. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I've seen the reverse suplexes, but the fact that, they did it,
And he
from the
bumped
ropes.
up really high.
Oh, he bounced up. Well,
Yeah.
that's what Ziggler does. By the way, and I did notice this. Ryan Klum always talks about how he feels, Langston does not fit in with Dolph and AJ at all, which I completely agree with. And then tonight, I really noticed Ziggler and AJ, their outfits kind of matched a little bit between like the black, silver, and the white. I think AJ's top was white and everything.
Why did she stop wearing his shirt, though?
Well, you got to wash it once in a while.
The guys never do.
I'm
kidding.
I'm so fresh and so clean.
But I think it was, when was it? Like 2 weeks ago, she stopped wearing his shirt.
Sure, who knows? Maybe they're preparing a new shirt for Ziggler.
Yeah.
You never know.
Or
Or for her. Well, she should have a shirt by now too. But Langston, like the colors of his attire, just didn't match at all. Just kind of, again,
because he's
just
the third wheel.
Well, he even looked more so like a third wheel than what Klum constantly talks about. But go back and forth. Great super kick by Del Rio when Ziggler was on his knees. Crowd is now really getting into it with the C chants. Ziggler then makes a counter with a neck breaker, but Del Rio manages to kick out. A bunch of punches to the kidneys while Ziggler's hung up, followed by a beautiful backstabber. But, continuing to go back and forth. Langston tries to, hop on the ropes, cause a distraction. Del Rio gets him off, but then counters Ziggler and gets him across arm breaker, and it's over. Ziggler taps right in the middle of the ring.
I always get so disappointed when they tap out, but...
Yeah, you and Phil, like, both of you, like, talk about, like, how angry you are with submission victories.
Yeah.
I think submission victories are better.
No, it's just so anticlimactic.
They're putting them in so much pain that they are forced to almost be like, chicken out and quit.
That's just my opinion.
That's sport. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, match ends. Big E comes in the ring and just dismantles Del Rio, just destroys him.
Out.
He was knocked out. I'm censoring myself because we're TVPG on here. Hits his finisher. Also, Ziggler starting to come to. You see, I don't know what that beep was, but Ziggler, starting to come to. All of a sudden, sees Del Rio laid out. This could be my moment.
Yeah.
I know I just lost this match, but he's out. I'm on my feet. Let me grab the briefcase. Oh my God, he's going to cash it in right now on Raw after his match.
I got so excited.
We were both really excited. It's oh, this is going to happen.
This is going to be such a great Raw.
He's handing the briefcase to the ref, snatched up by Ricardo.
Oh my God.
And Ricardo could have hung with Usain Bolt with how fast he was trying to run away from Langston. Langston chases him. He eventually drops the briefcase on the ramp. Ziggler yelling at AJ, run, get me the briefcase so I can cash it in, grab it. By the time AJ grabs it, he turns around. Another enziguri by Del Rio. He kicks the briefcase out. No Money in the Bank tonight.
That was such a good tease.
Great tease, though.
So
Great tease.
So good.
Great tease. And, a lot of people, I know are, saying very positive things about it. You know what else people are saying positive things about? Us on iTunes.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. They're talking about AfterBuzz on YouTube, talking about on iTunes. You can watch it on there, or listen, I should say, on the iTunes.
Yeah.
You give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment for this show, or, any wonderful AfterBuzz show for that matter, but particularly this one, especially this week's being, it's just, a 2-person show. We're rocking this out and, show those other guys that we can handle this. And so, check it out on iTunes and YouTube and AfterBuzz and all that fun stuff.
And tell a friend, because that's how we grow here.
Tell a friend. Tell a sibling.
It's a good...
Tell your dog.
A good present for a friend that you don't have to spend any money for.
It's a free podcast.
Yes.
Yes, you can subscribe just like that. What's better than free? I can't think of anything. Now we go back to Raw with what I found was the most confusing thing in the night. Wade Barrett. So last night we hear nothing with him with Bo Dallas. And tonight, he's all of a sudden, we come back from commercial, he's in the ring, thinking, all right, maybe he's going to start addressing Bo Dallas. No, we're talking about this huge new movie that he's coming in.
Supposedly in.
That he's supposedly in, called Dead Man Down, in theaters March 8th, along with Colin Farrell and Terrence Howard. They play a trailer. You don't even see Wade in the trailer. And then,
if you did, it was so quick that
we didn't notice him.
I couldn't tell. There were a lot of guys that kind of looked like him, but obviously weren't him.
A lot of guys running around with guns and stuff.
Yeah.
Again, being like the TV PG audience.
Yeah.
Do you really want to show? I mean, I understand you have one of your superstars in it. Do you want to show a trailer in the middle of your show with a bunch of guys shooting people?
I don't know.
It's a rated R movie?
I mean, it's his movie, so obviously he should have time to plug
supposedly,
it.
again, we have no idea if he's in it.
Yeah. But another movie that's coming out on
What else is coming out March 8th, Cathy?
We actually have a movie coming out. Maria Menounos produced it. She's in it. It's called Adventures of Serial Buddies. It's running from March 8th to March 14th, I believe. And it's going to be in 6 theaters across the country in different cities. So it'll be in LA, in San Francisco, Chicago, Boston, New York. And it's hilarious. I've seen it like 5 times now because I helped with getting it out there, and it's so funny. There are a ton of celebrities in it.
I know a lot of celebrities, and actually a couple good friends of mine, from my improv over the years, also starring at my friends Hal Rudnick and Gian Molina.
Yes. It's amazing.
2 of the funniest people I've ever had the pleasure of working with. They're in this movie with Maria.
There's so many cameos.
It looks hilarious.
Yeah, it's great, and honestly, it's good. They've spent so much time working on it, and just to make it as good as it is. And the trailer is online if you want to watch it. You can. And
then it's also going to be on DVD and Blu-ray.
Yes.
As well, you can get Serial Buddies on Blu-ray.
Yes, but definitely go see it in theaters.
Yes.
It'll have a week-long run, and then hopefully we'll extend it. So it should be good.
How can I score some tickets?
Well, you can go on over to adventuresofserialbuddies.com, and you can watch a trailer there and then find out what theaters it's in, and then purchase tickets through the theaters.
Well, there you go. I think we need the more you know music for that as well, because everyone now knows how to watch Serial Buddies when it comes out on March 8th.
Mm-hmm. And there's actually just a little tease. There are some wrestling references in it. So
what?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Now I have to see it just to find out what these references are. I was going to see it beforehand.
I'm sorry.
But now even more so.
Yeah. Wade Barrett's not in it, though. So.
I'll survive.
Okay.
But yeah, so meanwhile, though, the trailer ends. The crowd seems kind of confused because Wade Barrett's promoting the movie and we don't see him in that trailer. And all of a sudden we see Sheamus on the Titantron. Sheamus, talking about Barrett saying, Barrett, you're not the star of this movie. It's my good Irish friend Colin Farrell.
I thought that was so funny the way that that Sheamus was talking. He didn't knock the movie at all. He was just knocking Barrett.
Yes.
He was still like,
he was like, oh, this movie looks fantastic, but Wade, you're not the star of this, fella. And he's like, oh, but I've just been told, sorry, we're out of time. Since when do they say, oh, we're out of time? And all of a sudden,
because
Barrett's angry that they're cut off. And
WWE probably gave him a certain amount of time to promo his new movie, and they're like, at a minute or whatever it is, you're cut off.
Do you think this could jumpstart Barrett and Sheamus?
No. I think Barrett's set with his feuds right now with Bo.
But again, nothing with Bo Dallas tonight.
I think Bo will be back unless I don't know. I think he'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, only time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
And then we end that segment to make sure we get a nice plug for the WWE Power Slammer action figures.
Those look so freaking
we
cool.
We need these. Buy these for us.
Their arms spin.
I'm just saying, today's February 18th. I have a 30th birthday in about 10 days. People can, want to give me a gift. I'll take the Power Slammers. Mm-hmm. For these people watching us, hopefully they'll actually chip in, which they won't. I'm so needy.
I want one.
All right. We all want one. We want a battle royal on this table with our Power Slammers. But meanwhile, while the King and Cole are playing with them, out comes Brodus Clay and Tensai, as Ryan called them, the Lords of Funk. But you found, what were they called online that you found?
I've seen a couple things online. I heard people were saying they should be called Bronchitis, which I think is hilarious.
That's a funny name.
And someone also said, actually Brodus said on Twitter that he wanted to see them called MOF, Monsters of Funk.
Monsters of Funk.
Yes.
All right, but then didn't you say there was another one that would they won by, or
there have been several things that have been put out there, but
there's so many different names. We just need a name for them at this point.
Yeah.
I like Monsters of Funk. I like Lords of Funk. Bronchitis is funny, but I don't think you kind of take that as a serious tag team name.
I think it's hilarious. I like it.
But they're getting ready to go down in the ring and dance and have a ball, but their music suddenly gets interrupted by Primo, Epico, and Rosa Mendez. We find out we're not having a tag match. We're having a 6-person tag match. So we're getting some diva action on Raw. We got Rosa and Naomi.
Yeah.
And in that 90 seconds Naomi was in the ring, she showed she's far and away the best diva, the most agile diva on the roster.
She's absolutely amazing. They need to use her more.
She was fantastic. Yeah. She was absolutely, and imagine put her with someone of the higher caliber as well, say like Natalya or something like that.
Yeah.
There will be a phenomenal matchup.
Mm-hmm. I really do hope that they use her more. And for the past few weeks, I've been saying that they needed a Divas match. They needed a Divas match. And I know that this wasn't technically, but I'm glad that they had those two girls in there. So.
Yeah, and kind of like what we were talking about, all of a sudden, it looks like the Funkadactyls are getting a little more presence. They get to talk a little bit here or there. Now, one of them's wrestling on Raw. So, it's good. And then, the Lord, or whatever name you want to call them, we'll just say Sweet Tea and BC. They
suggested
dominate.
The dancing hippos.
The dancing hippos, going back to when Tensai was known as the Hip Hop Hippo years ago. And they end with their big double splash that I love because it's just a simple, very effective finishing maneuver. And Brodus and Tensai win, and they get to, celebrate with the Funkadactyls. And then all of a sudden, instead of watching the Funkadactyls dance, the camera cuts to Michael Cole dancing. I would rather watch the Funkadactyls, personally. That's just I don't know. Maybe you prefer to watch Michael Cole dance. I don't know.
I mean.
Nah. Or Brodus?
No.
No?
That's hilarious,
okay.
but.
Then we go to, exclusive footage that was on WWE.com this morning where they officially announced WrestleMania 30 will be held at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. Going to be a huge event. I had the pleasure of actually being at WrestleMania 20 when it was at Madison Square Garden, and that was just a monumental event. No one like, it's been 20 years, and this will probably be. I think this will be the biggest one since then, and should be fantastic.
Yeah.
So then we go then to the Jack Swagger State of the Union address. Swagger starts out on the mic and said, last night, not only did I conquer the chamber, but I put the weight of the nation on my shoulders. And all of a sudden, as Swagger started to talk, we go in the back of the monitor, just like how we saw Swagger watching Del Rio earlier. We have Del Rio and Ricardo watching. I guess they're studying Swagger's debate abilities, apparently. But they want to kind of hear what Swagger and Zeb have to say.
They were really trying to play up the presidential aspect.
They really were.
Studying their campaign tactics. And
Swagger passes, the microphone to Zeb. Zeb comes out, talking about that the Bill of Rights gives us the right to stand here and voice our opinion. And our opinion right now is the state of our union is pathetic. But real Americans are not to blame. The blame is on the millions and millions of people that are living in this country illegally. And then we're trying to think, okay, how does this, officially have to do with Alberto Del Rio? He then, kind of goes on and talks about that on one side of our main event of WrestleMania, you have a patriot. And on the other side, you have a champion who only came to this country to reap the rewards of his motherland. How dare he? How dare he say such awful things? Saying Swagger is going to recapture, yes, because I wrote capture, but it's recapture because he's a former heavyweight champion. Recapture the heavyweight title, and he's also going to reclaim America. We the people. And then Swagger, in the background, continues to shout, "We the people," similar to how Ryback chants, "Feed me more."
Yeah.
And why? Well, I mean, we get the "We the people" ending. I actually kind of like that as the ending, for promos. Mm-hmm. But you don't need to repeat that over and over because the crowd isn't going to chant with you.
Yeah. I get where they're trying to go with this feud, but yeah, they're not going to chant I don't know. It just seems a little weaker. I feel like it should get stronger over the next couple weeks, but right now it's not as strong as it could be.
I mean, I'm liking the way it's going. Right now, at this moment, obviously, we're still 48 days away. Today, I don't see it having enough steam to be a WrestleMania main event match. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely on the right track. Zeb is getting hated quickly.
Do you think that they paired Zeb and Swagger together so that Zeb would help him with his, when he speaks?
I think so. This is the third manager Swagger has had. Swagger has been managed by Vicky, Zeb, and he was also, I can't remember what the character's name was, but he acted as Swagger's father, who was a former wrestler in WCW back in the early 90s named Bunkhouse Buck, and obviously much older and acted like his dad.
Who has the best facial hair out of the three?
Oh, Zeb. Vicky. Vicky.
That's where I was going.
That would have been so much funnier if I caught on to that. You would think with my improv I'd be faster than that, but alas. Damn it, I'm angry at myself now. Well, now out comes Daniel Bryan because Swagger, he was doing the State of the Union in his wrestling gear because he's about to wrestle. He's got one half of the tag team champions to deal with. I liked on commentary, Lawler mentioned that Zeb has already received lots and lots of fan mail from Rush Limbaugh. I thought that was kind of funny. And, the one thing, though, with all the kids watching, the kids are like, who's Rush Limbaugh? A bunch of kids won't know who that is. Yeah. But the adults...
Who's Rush Limbaugh?
Who is he?
I'm kidding.
Yeah, better be. You better be. I don't want to give a spiel on Limbaugh. But, we have the continuation of just this new aggressive style of Swagger. And Michael Cole brings up a really good point on commentary. Since, Swagger was gone for about 5 or 6 months and all of a sudden came back with this new attitude. He mentioned, did Zeb brainwash Swagger? Did Zeb kind of put all these ideas in Swagger's head about America while he was gone? Because Swagger being, he was always like the real American, but he never acted like this. So, kind of like teasing, maybe somehow Zeb's done something with Swagger. Who knows if that will result in anything? It caught my attention. Daniel Bryan makes a nice comeback with a suicide dive and his big missile drop kick. He went for his set of kicks when Swagger was down on his knees.
They were so weak.
They look kind of weak, but I'm thinking, because he was wrapped up from the chamber. Maybe it's the fact, he's still very sore from the chamber match. Can give the full effect of those kicks.
But Swagger really played them, and I feel like they just looked kind of weak. I don't know. My opinion.
Well, no, I agreed with you. Like the last couple of them didn't look all that Daniel Bryan-esque. Bryan, though,
he was clutching his ribs at one point too.
He was definitely clutching his ribs.
So maybe he was hurt.
He looked like he was hurt, and then Swagger came back and countered with a huge spine buster, which obviously would not help those ribs. But Daniel Bryan comes back, gets the no-look applied, but Swagger gets to those ropes, and Bryan then tried for a signature running dropkick in the turnbuckle. Missed, landed awkwardly on his ankle, feels in pain, setting up perfectly for the Patriot Act. And we have another submission victory. I know as much as you hate them, another submission victory here, and this one
I didn't mind
for
this
Daniel
one as
Bryan.
much, actually. But
you just didn't like seeing Ziggler tap out.
no.
Oh, and here comes the blushing. No. All right, now all of a sudden we see Heyman walk into the ring. We're going to find out what this big surprise that Vicky has in store. And then, of course, we get the video package officially saying that we are 48 days away from WrestleMania, where make sure there are very limited seats left. Buy the tickets. They got WrestleMania merchandise out. They want them to buy it. And you know what else people can buy? They can buy AfterBuzz merchandise.
They can.
They can.
We have an AfterBuzz store, and it is on our website. If you just head on over to AfterBuzzTV.com, you can find a link to our store above the show's link. And we have a bunch of items from, guys' T-shirts, girls' T-shirts, baby outfits,
onesies,
which I think are adorable.
You can get a onesie.
I want one for my future kids in like 10 years, but
just buy it now and save it.
Yeah. But no, there's mugs on there, so if you want to get your own mug, I think there's an apron too. There's so many items. Yeah.
Nice.
Basically any AfterBuzz item that you want, we have in our store. If we don't, let us know there's something you want, and we can try to get it for you. So.
That's right.
Yeah. And also, I know a couple of people have been mentioning how expensive some of the items are, and we just wanted to say that they are priced that way because we wanted to give you better quality stuff, and we don't make the pricing. It's outsourced to another company, and they're the ones that made the pricing. But it's definitely worth, it's American Apparel stuff. It's all good quality.
And it's also worth it because they're getting all these great shows for absolutely free. They don't pay a dime for any of this, which even includes tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, a free live in studio interview with the one and only Chris Jericho.
Yes.
Live in studio. Yeah. I'm going to plug the hell out of that because that's huge.
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in, where have you been? Jericho will also be here tomorrow. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing about the store. Even
Sorry,
though we don't get any, no, I totally support that. I am so pumped for tomorrow. You have no idea. But I just wanted to say that even though we don't get any money, it really does help spread the word. Like if you're out there wearing your AfterBuzz gear,
what's AfterBuzz?
Exactly. So if you're a fan, then it's worth it. So.
Well, I just had a friend of mine. I went and had lunch with a buddy of mine. I'll give him a shout out, and follow him at the Jimbo Slice, a friend of mine named James, and he actually specifically told me, I just found out about AfterBuzz a few weeks ago. Big wrestling fan. He's like, now I have my regular routine every Monday after Raw. I tune into AfterBuzz.
And we've said that we'll give you some free gear if you can get an AfterBuzz sign into one of the the TV events. So.
Do it. Get AfterBuzz. Get a poster, saying I love Ryan Katz. Poster for Cupcake Kelley.
You can put it on the back of an old box or something. Just write AfterBuzz and.
Poster for AfterBuzz. Poster for Buzz and After Raw. Poster saying we want more Rosenberg. No, the AfterBuzz is more important than that. We want more Rosenberg might be too long for a poster anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, Vicky coming in the ring, and we come back, and Vicky and Heyman are already in the ring. And like I was talking about before, Vicky sounded like she was becoming, kind of like a good guy. And then all of a sudden, she's in the ring and doing her excuse me shtick. and the fans just booing her out of the building again. She keeps flipping back and forth. She's making me very confused, and I don't like being confused. So she comes out, again saying, I have a huge announcement. Tonight, I am naming a new assistant for myself.
Who do you think it was going to be?
I thought she was going to say Paul Heyman.
No.
I thought it was going to be a complete swerve and be like, now you work for me as my assistant.
Yeah. That'd be good.
That was the only thing that came to my mind. But the new assistant to the managing supervisor is Brad Maddox. And out comes Brad Maddox, who I'm guilty of it. I despised him at first, and then he just grew on me, and I'm really liking this guy. I really am.
For the first time in how many weeks? He wasn't wearing a vest?
Yeah, no vest tonight.
I like the sweater. Sweater looks better if he's listening.
Yeah.
Probably not. But
He's saying, I got this position as a reward for my loyalty and my services to this company for exposing that relationship between you and the Shield. And, he's talking about, like, I'm the, assistant managing supervisor. And Vicky's like, no, you're the assistant to the managing supervisor. Yeah, that's why I said assistant managing supervisor. That could be a little funny shtick that they go on for the next few weeks. And Heyman just interrupts. He's like, is this my cue to vomit? Because Heyman's like, I really don't care what either one of you has to say. I'm leaving. Great. You're the assistant. I really don't care. But all of a sudden, Vince appears on the Titantron. And finally, kind of interesting, because the clip we saw earlier with the announcement of WrestleMania 30, we saw Vince at the podium, might have had a little limp to him, but walking fine. And then all of a sudden, on the Titantron, he's holding crutches. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, did you really need to hold the crutches if you're sitting?
Just to add more to it.
Yeah, add a little more drama. He's telling Heyman, shut your mouth, because when your mouth is open, you're lying. Mm-hmm. And Heyman mentions him like, please, have a heart.
I love this part.
And Vince's like, if there's one thing that everyone knows about me, I have no heart. And if I did, it'd be black.
The crowd
cold.
loved that.
Crowd ate it up.
Yeah.
And we get footage from the previous week on Raw where Heyman's, was talking to Vince on the phone saying, I would do anything for you if you allowed that stipulation to happen for the Elimination Chamber, which Vince did. And he reminded him that, anything means anything. And he had anything written in his contract. He's like, I could fire you right now, but I won't fire you. That'd be too easy. Next week, I'm going to be in the ring, and you'll be too. And you and I are going to have a fight. And as soon as he said that, you could hear crickets in the crowd.
Yeah.
Nobody was excited about that announcement at all.
Why? I don't understand that.
I just think it's one of those things where I don't think there's enough build-up for a match or a fight between Vince and Heyman, because it wasn't Heyman that hurt him. It was Lesnar. Obviously, Vince isn't going to wrestle Lesnar.
Yeah.
But, for, many years when the hyped up with, Vince, in wrestling matches, the more build-up there was, obviously the stuff with Austin, nothing can compare to it. But he had a few with Triple H. That went really well. He had a few with Shawn Michaels that got built up really, really well.
Do you think it's smart for him, even though he's hurt, to do it before his surgery?
Something's going to happen.
Yeah. They're not going to.
Well, he already had a surgery, I think.
I thought it was in 2 weeks, or maybe I
thought he had a surgery. I don't know. I could be wrong. I thought he had the surgery a couple weeks ago. Yeah. But I feel like something's going to happen where, for whatever reason, the fight doesn't really take, or it turns into a tag match or something of that nature.
I think we have someone calling in right now, actually.
Do we? Oh, no.
No,
Martin's not shaking no. Okay.
Martin was writing something up, so I got confused.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, maybe someone will call in. Who knows?
I got a text that we might have someone calling in. So.
From who?
We'll see.
Oh, leaving me in suspense. I see.
Promoing it.
Good work. Good work there. I'll give you an A- for now.
Yeah.
And, at the end of this, Lawler mentions that this will truly be a handicapped fight.
Yeah.
I get it, haha, because Vince is on crutches. It's a handicap fight. That's hilarious.
We do actually have someone calling in.
Do we?
Yes, Martin just.
Now we officially have someone calling in?
I was telepathic. I called it before the phone even rang.
You just got that ESP stuff. All right, so who's calling in then? I'm new to this thing. How do we get this person on?
Hello, caller.
How do you do it? How do you figure it out? How do you make it happen?
He can't tell who it is.
I can't. I can't.
You still can't figure out who it is. You may be the voice of choice, but I'm the man that personifies, exemplifies, and dignifies the reasons why this show was made.
Oh,
Yes.
Did you now?
Mm-hmm.
Did you, sir?
How was your day, Ryan?
How was it? Let's hear about
My
it.
day has been incredible. How has your day been?
It's been good.
It's been great. We've been hanging out, we're watching Raw, talking about how tomorrow you're going to be in the studio along with Cathy, Ryan, and Josh with Chris Jericho, which is going to be incredible.
Can you believe that?
It's insane, man.
Jerichoholics.
Yeah. And we're just about to talk about the six-man tag team match, too.
Yeah,
which he was in.
Did you get a chance to check out any of Raw tonight, Ryan?
No, I have actually, I can reveal some information. I have actually been in a top secret, undisclosed location with some WWE execs checking out the newest batch of WWE divas trying out.
Nice.
Yeah.
How, and it went well? Everything looking good over there? We got some good potential divas?
There's some potential divas in training for sure. I mean, I would say there's a handful of about 4 or 5 girls that can definitely make the cut and maybe take it to the next level.
That sounds promising.
That sounds very promising because right now we need some new divas.
Definitely.
And what better diva scout than Mr. GQ Money, right?
Well, it's funny. I got to witness the divas trainer, Sarah Del Rey, in action today, teaching these girls what goes on. Obviously, one of the best female wrestlers in the world. You could probably throw her in the classification of best wrestler in the one of the best wrestlers in the world, not just females, but. WWE does know that there is a lull in the diva contingent in the division, and they are trying to improve it, boost it up, and bring it back up to a status they can be proud of.
Well, that's good. I mean, and we actually kind of saw maybe a small glimpse of it earlier tonight because I don't know if you got a chance to hear about this, but Naomi actually wrestled on Raw tonight. Which was great.
Singles match.
It was a 6-person tag match. It was Brodus Tensai and Naomi against Primo Epico and Rosa. And Naomi looked fantastic.
She even knocked out one of the guys.
Yeah, she took out, I think she took out Primo at some point too. So she looked fantastic.
I can't wait to see her develop.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's been great. And go ahead.
I was just going to say, I also heard that Kelley busted out some rhymes.
Yeah.
She dropped it like it was room temperature. It was fantastic. She nailed it. No, she did. I feel like my yard was stomped on.
Phenomenal.
No,
I don't want to take up you guys' time too much. You guys are doing a great job hosting tonight.
Well, thank you for calling in.
Down the fort, but I just wanted to call in and say what's up, and you guys keep doing what you're doing.
And you'll be back tomorrow.
I appreciate the good words, sir. We will see you tomorrow with Y2J.
Sounds great. See you guys then.
Later, buddy.
Bye.
That was, of course, your regular host with the most, Mr. Ryan Katz, who I've had the pleasure of filling in for this evening. Back to the show. This great 6-man. In my opinion, this was match of the night for me. Jericho, Ryback, and Sheamus versus The Shield. Again, second night in a row, not a big response for Ryback when he came out. It's very spot. Once he actually got involved in the match, crowd erupted quite a bit. But his entrance last night and tonight, not much for Ryback.
If Josh Padgett was there, he would be shouting.
Padgett would
so
be
loud.
shaking. And doing all of his Macho Man impressions and all that fun stuff. I like how Michael Cole mentioned that Ryback is a psycho for success. I think that was an interesting way because that really hasn't been Ryback's mission, really. All of a sudden, now they're talking about, Ryback wants to win matches.
We saw that earlier.
Well, you saw it when he was very angry about it earlier, but this is suddenly new. All he normally want to do was just hurt people and destroy them and feed me more. He never really mentioned how it was necessarily about winning the matches.
Doesn't everyone always want to win matches, though?
Not monsters. Monsters like to hurt people. But interesting note, this was also the Shield's first official match on Monday Night Raw. You know, only their third match that we've seen, but 2 of them have been on pay-per-view, and this one tonight on Raw. Reigns and Sheamus continue this like evil stare down that we were talking about last night. Just like, you know, this would be a great future feud between those two. Start of the match, Ryback is just going nuts. Jericho trying to calm him down before the match gets DQ'd within like the first 20 seconds. So all of a sudden, Ryback goes out of the ring and Jericho and Ambrose start going at it. And I tell you what, you know, talking about Sheamus and Reigns, I can watch a feud with Jericho and Ambrose too. I mean, they would work so well together.
Yeah.
I see a lot of Jericho in Ambrose. You should ask him tomorrow, you know, what wrestlers out there right now do you see a lot of yourself in there? So, you know, tell him I said it. I don't care, so I can feel included.
I think that actually we want people at home to ask us questions. So
oh, great.
They should definitely go ahead, and we'll plug our Twitters at the end. I'll give the guys too. But if you just do it and we'll say hashtag
Y2J question.
Y2J on bar.
That works better.
Y2J on bar.
Hashtag Y2J on bar. Submit questions. We'll plug the Twitters at the end. And, you know, hopefully you guys got some good questions that they'll be able to ask Mr. Chris Jericho live in studio tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30.
There comes a drop.
If Ryan says for 1 second that I didn't plug that enough, I'm going to yell at him. Anyway, back to the match. Michael Cole made a comment about Dean Ambrose, kind of saying like, you know, Ambrose, he just seems like, you know, like slightly off, just like kind of off in the head. And Lawler's like, Ambrose slightly off? That's like saying Great Khali slightly big. I found that kind of funny. Sheamus and Reigns continue to just have a flat-out brawl. Sheamus getting the upper hand actually hits the white noise on Roman Reigns very early in the match. But setting up for the bro kick. Rollins makes the save by getting Reigns out of the ring. So then Sheamus turns and hits the bro kick on Dean Ambrose. We come back from commercial. Shield back in control. There was this phenomenal little segment here that I loved where all of a sudden Reigns tagged in Ambrose. And then Ambrose came in. As soon as Ambrose came in, a blind tag by Rollins. And it was just this really quick double dropkick combo that looked great because you never really see someone make tags that quickly. I thought it was very well done. All of a sudden, though, Ryback eventually gets the hot tag. Big back body drop and spinebuster on Rollins, winding up his meat hook clothesline. Picks up for the shell shock, but then again gets speared by Reigns just like last night. But this time, Ryback's able to kick out before the count of 3. Crowd now chanting for Y2J. They want Jericho in that match. They want him going in. Shield now dominating Ryback, but eventually Ryback makes a comeback after Reigns misses a big splash. Makes the tag to Jericho. Jericho hits his bulldog, lion salt. Goes for the walls of Jericho, but Ambrose rolls him up. Gets the kick out. But meanwhile, on the outside, Reigns takes out Ryback, throws him against the post. Ryback is out, which is rare to see in itself. Sheamus and Reigns continue to brawl, and that distracts the ref. And, you know, while Jericho has the walls locked in, a flying springboard knee to the side of the head by Seth Rollins knocks Y2J out. Ambrose goes on top of him, gets the 1, 2, 3, and the Shield win again. Loved this match. Yeah. Absolutely loved it.
People are saying they should have evened it out and had the Shield lose, but I'm so happy that they won. Yeah.
Not yet. They'll eventually
lose. It's building
lose.
it up more, which I think is awesome.
And I like, you know, last night Rollins was the one who got the pinfall. Tonight it was Ambrose who got the pinfall. You know, they continue to kind of like work as a team. They end it in different ways. They work more as a cohesive unit.
They do work really well together. And I'm happy that they're finally getting their own matches because the whole shtick with them, you know, coming in whenever the lights turned off was just kind of getting old. So.
And then who knows, you know, we'll continue to see Ryback is getting angrier. Sheamus is getting angrier.
And embarrassed.
Maybe a little embarrassed. And maybe they feel a little embarrassed about it. We come back. We got Damien Sandow versus Kofi. This is one I was a little, you know, confused about. Sandow comes out with his microphone, kind of the great promo as he always do, reminding us that it's President's Day, and that several members of the Sandow family, in fact, have been personal advisors to presidents. As a matter of fact, Ozias P. Sandow, he's the one who came up with a new deal for President Roosevelt. The more you know. Did not know that Sandow came up with that. But then all of a sudden, before the match even begins, Sandow tosses the microphone to Kofi, distract him, and then just starts leveling him, just beating him down. No bell. This match is not starting. It's just Sandow just beating him down. And all of a sudden, we get the return of R-Truth. R-Truth comes out to, actually, in my opinion, a surprising ovation. Maybe, he hasn't been seen in a couple months. He hurt his knee in a match with Cesaro. And... and R-Truth, takes him out, hits a few of his signature moves, gets clothesline out of the ring, and here to help his old buddy and former tag team partner, Kofi Kingston. And crowd, a little happy that R-Truth is back.
I think so.
I've never been huge on R-Truth, but that's just me. I don't know. There's weird. Like, there's some things about wrestlers, something like I might love about a guy, and I can't really point it. And maybe there's something about a guy that I don't like, but I can't put my finger on it. For some reason, R-Truth is that way for me. I mean, he's a pretty good talker. He's entertaining. He's a good wrestler. But I just don't know. For some reason, there's just something for me that
never caught on for you.
Just never caught on. I don't know. But we'll see. Maybe a program with Sandow will do the trick. That'd be a good one for Sandow.
Where's Cody Rhodes tonight?
Where was Cody Rhodes? No Big Show, no Cody.
At least they're still friends.
Oh, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because later on in the night, down at the bottom of the bar, there's, they sometimes show some wrestlers' Twitters, like what they tweet. And this one caught my attention. It was a tweet from David Otunga, who we haven't seen on TV in forever. He tweeted that Cody has some competition with Zeb Coulter for the best mustache in the WWE. I thought that was kind of funny.
I think Smiley takes a cake on that one.
Well, Smiley?
Yes.
Smiley's got a pretty good mustache. He does.
He's the one that started it.
He started the trend. All of a sudden, he had it, then Cody had it, and now
Cody
Zeb
Rhodes
appears out of nowhere.
Stole it from him.
I would grow a mustache, but I think it's physically impossible.
Can you trademark a mustache?
That's a great question. We must find out.
Mustache. No, that was awful.
Someone tell us. Someone tell us in the chat room if you can trademark a mustache. Josh Matthews in the crowd. This time they were right. It was Josh Matthews, not Matt Striker. Interviews the same actors from G.I. Joe that he interviewed last night. And he pretty much asked them the same question he asked them last night. Like, are you excited to see The Rock? And pretty much they gave the same reaction. And we got, the preview for G.I. Joe, which does not open on March 8th. I think it opens March 29th because everyone on March 8th is going to be going to see Serial Buddies.
They are. You can pre-order your tickets.
What?
Pre-order them on serialbuddies.com.
Guess what I'm doing when I get home? Another vignette for Fandango. I want to say Fandango so bad, but they're saying Fandango. And Lawler was even mocking it for like the next 5 minutes after that. Just saying, the Viper. Just doing all different stuff. And he was dancing with a different woman. So I don't know if they're just showing him with a bunch of different women dancers or he'll just come out with just this array of female dancers. Who knows? We'll come back to Orton versus Kane. Very first moment in the match, Kane gives a shoulder block to Orton and appears injured. All of a sudden, he's holding his shoulder, and Orton is looking at him very confused. Because we're not used to seeing the big red machine hurt, acting human. And
supposed to be invincible.
He's a monster. You're supposed to have no feelings. And also, I actually noticed later on in the match that I'm not quite. I don't remember if it was the exact shoulder he was talking about, but along Kane's bicep. Right by the elbow pad, he had this big bruise. I'm guessing from the chamber last night. So who knows? Maybe that's what he hit, or he was thinking of something else. But commentators actually did not mention anything about Kane acting hurt, which made me kind of curious whether or not this was real or not.
Yeah.
Looked like he was in a lot of pain, but then came back with a huge uppercut to send Orton out of the ring. This match was very slow to me, but I think
it was long. I mean, it was like
it had a good time. I mean, it had a good length to it, but I think maybe they were, selling the fact that both men were very sore from the beatdown that they took in the Elimination Chamber, which would explain, maybe why they're walking a little more gingerly, maybe a little more hurt than they normally would be. And all of a sudden, Daniel Bryan comes down, even though earlier in the night he said, "I will not come down for your match. You don't come down for my match." Kane listened. Daniel Bryan comes out. Kane looks at him confused, turns around, RKO, and Randy Orton picks up the win. And all of a sudden, it doesn't look like Daniel Bryan really cares that Kane lost. And again, we're having this dissension, this beautiful relationship that we've had for so long.
Torn apart. It's broken. So sad.
It's very sad. It's heartbreaking. Which leads us to our final segment of the show. We have the University of Louisiana Lafayette Marching Band out here, which at first I was just like, this is really cheesy.
I was going to say the same thing.
But then they had the drum line play with The Rock's music, and I loved it. Being a percussionist myself, random fact about me, I have my bachelor's and master's in percussion. Yes, you can actually do that. But all of a sudden, the drum line playing along like perfect, syncopation with The Rock's beat.
It was really cool.
I want that every time.
It looked really good.
It looked really good. It sounded really good. I also like, at the end, The Rock gave a little fist, which, for like Marching Man and stuff, the fist was like, okay, this is the last time through, and then, it's going to be the cutoff. and they listened. They listened to The Rock.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But even more so, as excited as I was with the drums, all of a sudden it comes in the ring and it's got the red carpet.
A table.
And there's a table with something that looks like a new championship title under it. We've been waiting for this for so long. Just really, because I'm like, oh, there's going to be a new title. There's going to be a new title. Finally, there's going to be a new title. Rock comes on and talks about that. Punk, you brought your best twice in a row. But twice in a row in 2 pay-per-views, The Rock whipped your candy, I don't know if I can say that word on the show or not.
It's a quote.
Whipped your candy ass. Hey, I'm not in trouble. One thing I found very interesting, now, I know you weren't, I filled you in on this when we were watching earlier. When that title first came out, Cena was the one who debuted it, the WWE logo would spin. It was like a spinner.
Yeah.
Very odd. And it was like that for a few years. But now for I would say at least 2 years now, probably longer, it has not moved. It's just been, just as is. And all of a sudden, The Rock's out there and the title's spinning.
I kind of like the spinning. I'm not going to lie.
It's new to you. It's new to you. But it's just like,
I get what he's saying. It looked like a toy.
The Rock saying, it looked like a toy. And well, that's not the title that was technically, it's the same design, but that's really not the same title that they use for now. So all of a sudden, The Rock hands the title to, some, like stage crew guy to bring it to the back. And he's saying, the first time you see a WWE title, it should inspire you. And that, we get like the drum roll, the reveal of the new WWE title, which in the center I absolutely love.
It looked so cool.
The gold like the diamonds with the black background with the WWE champion, like very clear exactly what title is. And the sides have the Brahma Bull.
I didn't like that.
It's it's a matter of, okay, this title is supposed to be represented for the whole WWE, not just you. Now, the one thing that I'm hoping, because I know, on that whole center, there's no area for a nameplate where they put the person's name. So maybe those sides, they'll have the logo of whoever is the champion. Maybe those will be removable. So, if Cena wins the title, we'll have like the C Nation logo. If Punk wins the title, we'll have his straight edge logo. That would be cool. If they just adjusted the sides.
Would work though. Some of them would look kind of weird on there.
They might look a little different, but at the same time,
the Bulls look good. I just don't think it's fair.
That's why I'm really hoping they get adjusted, because all of a sudden, if Cena or Punk walk around with that title and it's got the Brahma Bulls on it, then it's pointless. Very similar to many years ago in the Attitude Era. Stone Cold had his own, Rock had his own title too, but Stone Cold had his own title, which was, more known, was, like the flaming skull, like his logo on it. And, and then when he lost the title for a little while, like the guy who was holding it still used that same title. And it's just like, it doesn't work with you. Like, you need to change it.
I wanted to say that new belt looked so much heavier too.
It does look heavier. It looks wider.
It is. It's definitely bigger, but it looked heavier.
Right. I love the center. I love the middle of it. I think that logo is fantastic. really showing like, the next level for the WWE.
Rock said it was flat out badass.
Who said?
Rock. The Rock.
Oh, The Rock said, yeah. This title is flat out badass. Now, The Rock saying, who am I going to face at WrestleMania? Because as we said earlier tonight, it's announced that next week, Cena will take on Punk, and the winner will actually go on to face The Rock at WrestleMania. Actually, I don't know. We mentioned they would wrestle him, but I don't think we mentioned that it would be like for the. Oh, we did mention a WrestleMania spot.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's only two of us. I'm trying to remember everything. And Rock saying, he's saying, there's one man that The Rock feels that would bring out the very best in him, and for professional reasons and personal reasons, that man is Cena's music hits. Cena standing there. Kind of odd. He's just kind of like, standing there, no microphone or anything, not coming down in the ring, standing there, kind of like getting ready, like blowing his knuckles, ready to fight.
It seemed like, I don't like that Rock was like pumping him up almost. Like they should be feuding.
But was he talking about Cena? That's the key in it.
Yeah.
He's like which one would be the best one for The Rock? He never said who.
Yeah.
Cena just immediately came out, and then all of a sudden from behind, here comes Punk with the old title, smacks Cena in the back, knocks him out, throws the old title down, pointing The Rock saying, I want that title.
They just stared at each other for a really long time.
It was a long stare, a long, intimidating stare. And, Punk eventually walks away.
Just leaves.
And that's how the show ends. Punk walking away, Rock standing with a new title, Cena knocked out from that shot with a title. And that's how Monday Night Raw for February 18th comes to an end. Overall,
great Raw.
Very good Raw. A lot of build-up for things between Rock, Cena.
They teased so much stuff.
Rock, Cena, Punk, Kane and Daniel Bryan, Cesaro and Miz. Got to finally see Naomi on Raw.
I was very happy with that.
Very good. The Shield, more things with Ryback and shit. Lots of build-up. Money in the Bank, Del Rio and Swagger.
That was so good.
Really did a great job of building. They built up about 7 matches tonight. Like, now, none of them are, official as of yet. But the fact, that they got these built up so they can keep working on it, be fantastic. And that will continue on to SmackDown and for the remaining 48 days until WrestleMania 29.
Yeah. Did we do a good job at building up our interview tomorrow with Chris Jericho?
You mean that interview tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific with the one and only Y2J, Chris Jericho? And that's one of my all-time favorite entrance themes. Keep it going. Keep it going. I love it. I love that music. He's been using this music since '99. I still love it. Yes, tomorrow, I should say, you, Ryan, and Josh will be interviewing the one and only Chris Jericho. I cannot wait to tune in. It's going to be really exciting. You got anything else that, you would like to plug besides, obviously, that big event tomorrow?
Well, if anyone wants to talk about wrestling, they can find me on Twitter at Catherine Kelley.
Well, there you go.
All I got to plug.
And as well as for the questions for Jericho at Y2J, hashtag Y2J bar.
Yes.
Hashtag
Y2J on bar.
On bar.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Y2J on bar. Send questions to at Catherine Kelley. Send them.
Or any of the guys.
Any of the guys.
Yeah.
You can send them to me if you want. I'll forward them over. You could follow me at CRosieVOC. Also, for those of you that were interested in that show, comedy show I did last week with Mr. John Morrison, another former, WWE Intercontinental Champion, I have the video. I've just uploaded the first part onto YouTube today. So, when this is over, when you're getting ready for bed, it's a fun little 10-minute thing, to laugh at as you tuck yourself in. And, you can find me on Twitter, like I said, and I posted links for that. But otherwise, you know what? I think the two of us, we whipped some candy ass on this show. We whipped some candy ass. And we got Y2J coming tomorrow. Thanks so much, for having me in here, Ryan and the guys. I hope we did well, filling in for Rescue. For Cathy, Kelley, I am professional wrestling voice of choice, Christian Rosenberg. We'll see you tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, for AfterBuzz with Y2J.
Make sure to tune in.
Yeah.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Y2J tomorrow.
All right, I have a stipulation for everyone. Ready?
Okay.
The big boss man has to come out at the end.
Uh-oh.
I am Vince McMahon. So, I'm calling all of you guys out.
Uh-oh.
I want to have a WrestleMania at the John Lovitz Theater live. How do we do this? We need fans, asses in seats, and we need a good preparation by the hosts.
Yes.
I need at least 400 asses in those seats at the John Lovitz Comedy Club. We'll watch it live for 4 hours,
AfterShow.
and then we'll go on. And not only that, you want to make it super?
Are we on
Get
the air
me
right
guests. Yes, we are. Get me guests! Done!
I didn't even know we were still on the air there. That's awesome. You heard the man. Comedy Club, we need butts and seats.
Do it.
If you're in the California area, get here. Fly here. If you can't have tickets to WrestleMania, this is the next best thing. John Lovitz Comedy Club. You can hang out with us, watch Mania live show after WrestleMania. That's new. That's breaking news. Almost as big as Jericho coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. Are you?
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you later, guys.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later for real this time.
Views expressed herein are those of the host only. Do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.